Look at all we've done. Look how far we've come. Never thought we'd make it round the bend again. I'm still by your side. You're still called my bride. After all these years, the fun just never ends. Every day I find I'm drawn to you. Nights together that we held on to. Never leave my side, dear. I still love you. My promise to I'll stay true on this special day, dear, anniversary with you. Howdy music lovers, Tom from Blakgraz here, and that is my song called To Us, the Anniversary Song. Real quick history on that song. I wrote that for some friends of mine in Boerne, Texas by the name of Ian and Nui. They own Nui's, or N's Thai Food, one of the best Thai food places I've ever eaten in my whole entire life, just for the record. And they used to let me come and play there, and so one time Nui said to me, "Hey, you write music, so why don't you write a song for our anniversary?" No pressure, Nui, right?
You only had about a month to write it.
I only had a month to do it too, and so I thought, well shoot, if she's going to put me in that kind of spot, I'm going to write something that rocks. And it does. This song is actually a hardcore throwback to that sloppy grunge style from the 90s, like Matthew Sweet and some great bands like that, Better Than Ezra and all those guys. And even a little bit of Weezer with that. I was going to G major, E major, C, A, and then this over the A. That is cool. So anyway, I just wanted to bring attention to that song because it's so much fun to play it. Occasionally I get to do it, and it's so cool because it's heavy distortion, heavy drums and cymbals and bashing away, but very melodic at the same time. And it's such a great way to do a love song, you know, really intense and rocking out and having fun, swinging the guitar around and hitting wrong notes and just banging on the, you know, making sound, right? Making noise. So even the solo is kind of just, you know, like a it's wonderful. With all that heavy distortion on there and all those strings ringing and all that extra noise. It's extremely punk, it's extremely alternative grunge, extremely just rocking out for a song called To Us, the Anniversary Song. Isn't that nice? You'd think you turn that song on or somebody asks for an anniversary song, I start playing that. It just always makes people laugh. Anyway, so I also want to give a shout out to my custom build guitar here out of Austin, Texas, my one-of-one custom build Model T. And this one is called Stella. I've used her quite a few times now on the videos, but she is one of my favorites. Just a beautiful guitar. Even plugged in or unplugged, it sounds amazing. Plus, I'm wearing my Casita Brewing t-shirt, which of course is a place that we played. And they were super nice to us, and I'm hoping to be able to come back next year and see them all again. And so in this video, though, really what I wanted to talk about was not so much the song To Us, but about my show in general. You know, I've said this many times on other videos that one of the cool things I got to do in my life when I was living and working in LA was I got to meet Kofi Kofi. Kofi Kofi was the producer of Cher's hit song, Do You Believe in Life After Love? And one of the secrets of that song was he discovered that computerized vocals effect that made her voice sound like a computer. No one had ever done that before, at least not to make it obvious like he did. And he went with it and basically showcased her voice that way in that song with that effect. Now, when I met him, he asked me a really important question. He said, do you know the 3 main vital elements of a hit song? And I said, as a musician, I thought I knew what I was talking about. I said, well, let's see. It'd be the melody, the lyrics, and the arrangement. Or could it be melody, lyrics, and production? And he said, nope, it's the song, the song, the song, right? The song itself has to be strong. So even with poor production, a great song will shine through, just because it'll touch people's hearts. Something you say, some melody that catches their attention. Well, the same thing can be said about a show. What are the 3 main elements of a fabulously successful show? The show, the show, the show. So as a broader view of what's occurring on stage for Blakgraz, I think in those terms. Every song that I write and play has to meet that requirement. Does it hit those 3 elements? The song, the song, the song. Is it a strong song? Is it catchy? Is it memorable? Does it get people's attention? Does it help them to connect with me as an artist? And then those songs combined in certain orders. For instance, there's a bunch of songs that I do kind of in a row that go from kind of dance country to dance classic rock to pop dance, right into a funk, right? And it takes them it's like this dance section where if I've got people going, I've got several songs that just runs one to the next, to the next, to the next, and keeps them going. Or if I see people line dancing or really singing along with the drinking songs that are country style, I stay in a different group of songs that I have that I can just pull out, and it goes song to song to song. It keeps them in that vibe. Now, mind you, there are some songs that I always seem to start with Seeking Glory now. I used to start with Felt So Good for a long time. But Seeking Glory has been turning a lot of heads, and it's a very high energy song. Felt So Good is right up there with the beginning of the show to show people that, not only that I'm writing catchy or playing catchy stuff, but that I'm actually playing guitar, because there's a big long solo in the front of it. That's to show people, that I'm not just singing, I'm actually playing guitar, different types and styles of guitar. Then it switches to Laissez les bons temps rouler, which is basically a Cajun Zydeco style song called Let the Good Times Roll. The point there is that I shape the show specifically to do a couple of things to an audience for the first time when they first hear me, because a lot of the places that we've been to, it was the first time. There are some that we've been back to and people kind of knew what to expect from my show, but didn't maybe remember everything because it'd been 6 months to a year since we'd been there. But these new places that we go into, they're cover rooms where bands come in and play all covers. So every song is something that everybody knows, right? I'm coming in and playing 3 or 4 hours nonstop with no break of all originals, right? So every single song has to keep their attention, and they don't have a clue where what the song is. They've never heard it before. So I have to write the show and the songs in such a way that I get them not only to pay attention, but to start singing along and wanting to dance immediately. So the beat is vital. The song, the song, the song. The hooks are vital. The musical hooks, the vocal hooks, how I introduce the song, how I talk to people in between songs. I memorize their names. Even before I get on stage, I'll try and get a couple people's names before I get on stage, even if it's just the bartender and security and a waitress. So I have people to talk to. See, something magic happens when you mention their names on a microphone. Suddenly, they appreciate you and smile. Well, when they smile, other people see them smile or laugh or notice that I got their name right, and they think that you know them. So they think that you're local. Oh, is he from the area? Oh, he knows the bartender? Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe he's been here before and I'm just learning for the first time. See, for instance, shaping the show has to be kind of like a roller coaster ride. The first thing out of the gate, well, I should condense this down a little bit. It's sort of like the arc of a good story, right? You have to have a really strong beginning, then a whole bunch of stuff happens in the middle. It goes up and down and up and down, and at the end, you have to have another really strong ending, right? It doesn't mean that there's nothing important happening in the middle. It's just not as vital as the strong beginning and strong ending. And you always try to keep those two consistent, so that when you play them, you perform at your peak because you're so comfortable doing it. You've just done it a million times and it just happens, right? So that show in between, I've shaped my show not only after the Vegas style, Las Vegas style entertainment stuff that I used to actually do when I first went on the road as a bass player, and when I was working as a part of the house band for the Four Caesar resorts in the Poconos. I'm shaping that in terms of all the different little tricks to get people's attention, to keep them engaged, to run games and do gimmicks and giveaways and contests, singing, drinking, memorize their names, throw their names in, tell a joke here or there, bad jokes. I'm not a comedian, but they're bad jokes.
Bad dad jokes.
Bad dad jokes. But they get people's attention, that you're engaging them, right? You're looking them in the eye. You're actually making a personal connection with the audience, even if it's not every single individual, just enough that everybody else watching feels like, wow, you're really looking at the audience and talking to them and engaging, and they feel welcome, right? Because when you're on stage, you define that space. You define the room and the energy in the room. You've got the microphone. So the point of the show is I've incorporated all these little secrets that I remember from working in that Vegas style band. It was like being in the military. There was no joking around. Everything was timed down to the second. You had blocking. It was very, very professional. If you made a mistake, you got fined $50. And if you're only making $200 for the week, you learn really fast not to make mistakes, because otherwise you don't eat. You're borrowing money from the guitar player if you're the bass player, or for the drummer, so just so that you can eat to make it to the next week to pay them back.
And there were no phones on the mic stands or any sheet music or lyrics out in front of you like there is now.
You would have been fired. If you'd walked on stage with a phone, you'd be fired. Now, there is instant where we would back up famous comedians up in the Caesar resorts, and you'd have to have a chart, because they would have their show with a comedian would sing sometimes, and they'd tell jokes in between and things like that. So sometimes you'd have a chart. Sometimes you'd have the show list for when the owner of the band came out and did his comedy show, which incorporated comedy as well as music, and he would give vocal cues. So you don't have time to be looking at your chart. You just got to know what's coming next, and certain sections in that list would have something called a call-up, which means he could change that song on you. So you had to listen to what he was saying to know which song he was going to call up, and you had to know it like that. So I don't know if you've ever seen a Vegas-style show, but think about Elvis at the peak of his career. Everything was timed down to the second. He would say one phrase, and the whole band knew exactly what he was doing. He would pick up a guitar and strum a chord and start singing a song, and they would join him knowing that he was doing, oh, that song. He's doing Love Me Tender, or he's doing a different one. Oh my gosh, he's doing this other cover. He's covering a Beatles tune. And they would just have to play it. Now, obviously, they were well rehearsed, but the point is the timing of the show, where he would go and stand, what he would do to interact with the audience. He'd go down and sometimes give kisses, sometimes he would just toss out scarves. That's all part of a good show. Does it mean that you should do exactly what Elvis does? No, but you should watch how he shaped his show. The strong beginning, the ups and downs, and then the strong ending and leaving, right? Getting out, get off. Once you're done, you're done. So that was my goal, was to have all of those cool little secrets about keeping people's attention, keeping them interested in the show overall. and then let each of the songs hook them in even further with good melodies, good words, a good beat, especially the drum beats. Those are absolutely vital. So I'm going into these cover rooms, right, as an all original show, playing 3 or 4 hours with no break, right? Most cover bands go in and they do a 45-minute set, they take 20 minutes, and then they do another 45-minute set, or maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then they do one more set. I'm just going straight through, which gives me more time to play more songs for them. But it also means there's more pressure, right? I have to work harder, longer to keep their attention, because it could be easy for them to get tired. Now, I've had this happen where crowds were dancing to my stuff and they literally got wore out. They had to sit down for 2 or 3 songs just because they were tired, and then they would drink and get back up again once they got a rest.
Plus, they're used to other bands taking breaks, so that's when they would take a break.
Right, so they'd be drinking, so they'd have to run and use the bathroom, and then when they were done, they'd come back and they'd keep dancing again. So my goal was to create an all original show that had all the different varieties of stuff that I had seen cover bands that I'd worked with and tributes that I'd worked with use, that kept people excited. When you go and you see your favorite cover band, you know there's certain songs they're going to start, like, you know, or whatever is, or shit. I don't remember the chords now. My own worst enemy, whatever that was. I used to know it. You start that lick, right? And everybody that likes that song is going to start bouncing up and down. Woo, woo, my own worst enemy. I love this song. Or you start Ballroom Blitz, or you start another famous tune, right? Or a Journey song, or a Bon Jovi song, or all the songs that they play over and over and over in cover bands. Even, you know, My Chemical Romance, or even some of the newer stuff. You're hearing it all the time, right? Because every cover band is doing that song. So it's easy for them because people already know the song. Well, what if they don't know my show? Well, I've got to come up with something that sounds a little bit like that, but is my own. Why wouldn't you want to just write and build off of a beat and maybe an arrangement that you already know is successful? Like Life in the Fast Lane, right, by the Eagles, or Jungle Love by Steve Miller, songs that never grow old and get played over and over and over again.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama. Mustang Sally, my God.
Freebird.
Not everybody plays Freebird. They always joke about it, but not everybody can. Or Hotel California. I mean, come on. Or Amy, or Can't You See, or Family Tradition. I mean, all these wonderful songs, great artists. So why would you try to completely reinvent the wheel when all of these famous artists actually were just copying their famous artists? They were all emulating the bands that they grew up with and loved and adding their own spin to it, which is exactly what I try to do with a Blakgraz song and show, right? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. There are plenty of my songs that don't sound like anything else out there, like A Fly on the Wall. Sounds like a reggae tune until the whole thing kicks in, right? Or Under and Away. And some people say that that sounds like Pantera, except that I wrote that about 5 years before Cowboys from Hell came out. And I was playing in New York City playing that song, long before they had their hit song. So there's stuff like that. Or even Will Not Fall Again, right? Older song. But it doesn't sound like anything famous that you would know automatically. But if I play Blaine and Jen, it's very similar to, right? It's got that guitar riff thing in it. And so as soon as I play that riff, people go, oh, that's kind of cool. It sounds like another style that I already know. And then I start playing the rest of the song, and the beat is very similar to Life in the Fast Lane. There's several parts from it that have, harmonies in it and that are very similar to the Eagles, but it's talking about my two friends who come out and have a good time every time they come to one of my shows and hoop and holler and have a great time. So the point is, each song has its own little tiny hooks, and then the show overall has hooks designed into it to keep people's attention. For instance, my song, Find Your Way, the Cowboy song. That's a sing-along where I actually give away a prize for whoever sings with me the most, and the most loudest and the most accurate. And all they have to say is woohoo and yeehaw, right? But that's a point in the show where I see, okay, I've got people's attention. There's a good crowd. I've got people who are active over here. I got people who are active over here. I got people who I've been interacting with over here. I'm going to do this now because I know they'll all hoop and holler, woohoo, yeehaw, right? And that'll get all the other people who are watching excited too. And they'll feel drawn in by that, all these people having a good time. So when you're on stage and you're watching what's happening, you start to realize that you have segments to your show, if you've been doing it right, variety of styles and not tricks, but things, tools that you can use from a good solid show to keep people's attention. All right, you know what? Looks like y'all are drinkers, and they're country fans, by the way. They've been dancing to my country songs. So I play Girls, Cars, and Whiskey by Blakgraz. And every time I say whiskey, you got to take a drink. Right? You break into that. Now all the people that love line dancing, cowboy boots and hats and drinking whiskey, not only are they going to be out on the dance floor dancing and two-stepping, but they're going to be screaming whiskey with you and taking a drink every time. So you get all of these little elements to your show that fit your show, that fit. And for Blakgraz, this is what I've been doing, is building these as I go across the country. 22 states in a year and a half gives you a lot of opportunity to work on building new little tools, new little parts in the show that you can use over and over again. Stories about songs, lines, kind of banter back and forth with folks, funny joke, whimsical stuff here and there, stuff to mention. There's a joke I'm using right now that TikTok says that Blakgraz is going to be famous next week. So we're going to have a party next week to celebrate. So make sure you tell all your friends that we're going to be famous next week so that everybody can come out to the free show and we can all enjoy and celebrate together. That's one of the things that I use to keep people engaged. It gets their attention because really all they hear is Blakgraz is going to be famous next week. And that's what I want them thinking, right? Wow, I got to tell all my friends. He wants us to come to his celebratory party. Well, all right, I want to go. See, these are not tricks. These are tools of good entertainment. This is how you sell a show. This is how you get people to enjoy themselves. You got to get their attention, and then you got to keep it. And then you got to make them glad that you kept their attention, right? Make them feel like they got something out of it. A good feeling, or just, they forgot their troubles, or they got to dance, or they got to drink with their friends, and they had a good laugh, right? That's the whole point of a good show. So I just wanted to share that because there's a lot of folks who say, it's impossible to do what you're doing. You can't go around the country going into cover rooms and playing all originals. I've had a couple agents tell me, we can't help you. We only book cover bands. The clubs that we book, they only want cover bands. Every single room I've played in the last year and a half, and then 2.5 years before that in Texas, was a cover room until I got there. And then they were an all original room. And now see, the thing is, I'm not doing all original with ticket sales. I'm getting paid a flat fee because, well, I'm not famous, yet. It's not next week yet. So I'm getting a flat fee. So I've got to make sure they make money at the register selling drinks.
And food.
And food very often. So that means, like a cover band, my show has to have a wide variety of styles of music and beats, things that keep them interested. I've got to have enough fast songs. I've got to have enough dance songs. I've got to have enough country blues. I've got to have enough classic rock. I got to have enough hard rock. I've got to have enough slow songs. For when the moment happens that I see people want this, I can go ahead and play one of my songs that fits that style. And that's the thing I tell everybody when I go to play. I have 113 songs in 11 different styles. So whatever style your audience is going to want to hear, I'm going to be able to play it.
Well, that's actually what's published. You have at least, 4 more songs that need to be finished?
No, there's 6 songs that are not finished being recorded.
4 of which you play out.
6 I play out.
You play all of them out, okay.
And there's 2 others that have not been recorded. Plus, I just wrote another new song 2 days ago.
The start of it.
The start of it. I have the arrangement and I have the beat in my head and the chords, and I've got most of the words. I just need to finish fleshing out the verses, but the rest of it's done. So that'll happen pretty quickly too. So there you go. That's what Blakgraz is about. I wanted to go out and play my songs, but I knew that I had to build a following. Right? So people who'd be willing to come and see me play. And to do that, you have to get in front of people. But to do it and to make enough money to keep rolling down the road, you have to play in cover rooms. Well, to play in cover rooms, you got to have a good show, the show. Because if you're not putting on a good show and you're playing all originals and people don't engage you, you will never make it down the road. You won't eat and you won't get gas in the tank. That's just the hard facts. Now, the good news for me is, and for us, is thanks to all the hard work we've been doing for the last year and a half, we actually now have a much easier time convincing venues to come and let us play and pay us. Now we've actually got people who are booking us 4 times in one text for next year. I just booked 2 shows in May and 2 shows in November, and then the few days before that, it was 4 shows in Texas, thanks to Clark Mosley from Enabler Entertainment, because he used to work with me in Texas and he knows the show is good. Plus, the day before that, Martha had booked 2 shows.
Well, we were at the venue itself, and she's like, "All right, I got my calendar. Do you want to book?" And
I was playing
did it right there on the spot.
And Kathy knows I won't take a break, so she walked up to Martha, and Martha booked the 2 dates to come back to Bugsy's in Enterprise, Alabama. And the day before that, I'd booked 2 more shows myself. So what's starting to happen now is not only do people know us, but when people go and look us up online, or even many times when I just get a decision maker on the phone, somebody who does the booking, and I tell them what I do and about the show, just like I've described it to y'all, man, they're just like, this sounds awesome. I've got to have you. What are the dates that you're going to be close by? Very soon, I will have all of 2026 completely booked up for the whole year. And then I'll be able to focus more on just writing and recording new stuff and working on building the show to be stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's very exciting to me. Beyond just being able to pay the bills and fix Rufus, right? He needs a lot of work. So that's just going to be a project that just takes time, just happens over a good deal of time. But to be able to focus on just practicing and writing and recording and improving the show, because I've got the whole year booked, now that's what I'm talking about. So I just wanted in this video to share how while you may be coming to see a Blakgraz show and you may not know any of the songs at first, by the first few notes, I'm going to have you singing or dancing, depending on how much fun you want to have right away. But by the end of the night, you will be a Blakgraz fan for sure. Because as Dave Pendergraft says it, you'll just feel the energy that I put out. You'll just feel it. You can't help it. I can't help it. Even, I mean, right now I'm fighting. I got something in my back bugging me because I have not been stretching enough, and that's on me. But when I started playing and when I start talking about my show, I don't even care. I don't even feel that. I start throwing myself around on stage. I'll start banging my fingers, and I'll just go to the point where Martha will have to look at me and go, hey, you know, we have an hour-and-a-half drive tonight after this show.
I need sleep.
Yeah, somebody, and the cat's going to be very upset if she doesn't get her beauty rest. So I have to be careful sometimes how late I play. But I guess you're seeing my point. I just really can't say this enough. Thank you so much to everybody who's been listening and commenting on our videos, who's been listening to our music, who's been coming to shows.
Who've been booking the shows with
everybody, venues and agents who've been helping us keep rolling down the road. You cannot even begin to imagine how much it means to us to know that people actually care, that people are actually paying attention to what we're doing. It just means the world. It really means the world. It is literally a dream come true thanks to y'all. So I think that's a good spot to end. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially after that kind of a rant. Make sure you check out To Us, the anniversary song. And if you're in Boerne, Texas, hit N's Thai Food and tell Ian and Nui that Tom and Martha said, hey, we're going to be there soon. In fact, for the holidays, we're going to surprise them and come in. And I always love to break into the kitchen when Nui's working, and I tell her, hey, you're fired.
Best nuts in Boerne.
Best nuts in Boerne, right?
Yeah,
right. Cashew nuts.
Her spicy cashew nuts.
Now, it's funny because Nui is the owner. How do you fire the owner, right? So anyway, that's an inside joke. You can tell her that joke if you see her. But thanks y'all for tuning in.
And if y'all go, tell them that you saw this video or you heard from us. Tom and Martha from Blakgraz said that we had to come.
Yeah.
Because they'll talk to you, and they'll probably tell you stories.
Oh, they've got stories, all right. So thank you for tuning in and for watching. Please give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. That makes a huge difference, especially with the algorithm with YouTube. Also, don't forget, we got CDs for sale and a whole bunch of merch and stuff for sale too online. The links are down below. And there's a whole bunch of other videos and stuff that we're putting up all the time. Martha is a madman. She's just going crazy with the videos, and it's really helping a lot.
Mad woman.
Mad woman. Apologies.
I do not identify.
How do you define a woman? So she's got okay. Anyway.
Pelvic bone.
Pelvic bone. Yeah.
Pelvic bone.
You can't deny the chromosome.
Archaeologists.
The pelvic bone. So. Also, come to a live show. Shake my hand. Say hi. Even better, you know, we've got handmade t-shirts at shows, and of course our emotional support beverage Snuggies. Snuggies for not the diaper, but basically it's like a beer or a drink diaper.
It's a blanket.
It's a blanket, yeah.
That's why it's a Snuggie. It's a blanket.
Or a koozie, or a blanket for your ESB, your emotional support beverage.
Keeps your hand dry.
Right, keeps your hand dry. And they are AI powered, just so in case you're wondering. These are high-tech nanotechnology ESB koozies. They know how to keep your drink warm or cold automatically. And I have no idea how it works. It just knows. No batteries, no solar power, no nothing. It just works. So
that's the bad dad joke right
all
there.
Joking aside, thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm Tom from Blakgraz, and I really look forward to meeting all of you next week when we're famous and we have that celebration party. All right, y'all. See you then.